welcome back to Happy Bake Day, where every day is a happy bake day. I hope your cinnamon honey blintz casserole from last week, when we used Bee Friend Farms creamed cinnamon honey, turned out delicious. If you missed that episode, you can check it out right here. It is Girl Scout cookie season here, finally. And we are going to be using the Girl Scouts Lemon Up cookies in today's recipe. They are one of my favorite cookies. They're round and buttery, and they've got a delicious lemon icing on the back, and they've got some really cool inspirational messages. And we are going to be using them in our recipe today to make a Girl Scout Lemon Up cookie crust and a raspberry rose curd filling with a delicious lemon up crumble topping to make these kind of a tart lemon bar-esque dessert and 100% delicious. This is going to be made in a couple different parts. Part one, which I have my ingredients out here for, is going to be our lemon up crumble topping. Step two is going to be our lemon up crust. And then the third part is going to be making our raspberry rose curd that's going to go in the middle of these delicious bars. Now, what you're going to need for step one, our crumble topping, the ingredients include 1/3 cup of packed light brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, 1/4 cup of salted butter melted, and 2/3 cup of crushed Girl Scout Lemon Ups cookies. Now in today's baking, I did use the Lemon Up cookies in both this crumble topping that we're gonna make here shortly and in the crust on the bottom. Now in total, I used 2 whole packages of the Lemon Up cookies, which was 24 cookies in total. So just so you know when you go buy your Girl Scout cookies. Now the first step today is to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. Now to make our crumble topping, what we're going to do is combine both of our sugars in a medium bowl. I have a fork to help do that. Then you'll add in your melted butter and mix everything until it's well combined. Then you'll slowly add in your cookie crumbs, and again, you'll start mixing with a fork. And just like when we made our apple cinnamon oat muffins, you're going to mix until nice round chunks form, and you're going to leave it as those large kind of chunky crumbles, and then you're going to put your bowl aside.
And my heart is full of pain. I'm 1,000 miles away from home, just waiting for a train.
Our crumble topping is done, and I've set mine aside. What we're going to do next is make our lemon up cookie crust. For that, you're going to need the following ingredients: 1.5 cups of crushed Girl Scout Lemon Ups cookies, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, and 1/3 cup of unsalted butter melted. What you're going to do next is take out a large mixing bowl. You're going to combine your cookies and your sugar in the bowl. You'll mix them well together, and then you're going to add in your butter and again mix together until everything is moist and crumbly. After that, what you're going to do is pour your cookie crumbs into an 8x8 glass baking dish. I do recommend lining your baking dish with some parchment paper. That way it will help make the bars come out much easier at the end of our bake. What you're going to do is take a spatula and just push the crumbs on the very bottom of the pan until it forms like a nice crust. Then it'll be ready for baking. Our lemon cookie crust is in our baking dish, and it looks perfect. Now, just like when we made our banana pudding bars with vanilla wafer crust, this will need to be par baked, meaning it's going to need to get pre-baked before we add our lemon curd and then bake again. You're going to bake it in your oven for about 10 to 12 minutes or until the crust kind of turns a nice golden brown color. After that, take it out of your oven and let it cool down completely before adding in your lemon curd. Just put it aside until we're ready. Our lemon up cookie cookie crust is out of the oven and cooling off in the background. Now I did leave my oven on, so it is still heated to 350 degrees because we will need to put this back in the oven when we're done. The next step is to make our raspberry rose curd, and you're going to need the following ingredients for that. 16 ounces of fresh or frozen raspberries. Today I am using fresh raspberries because they are in season and beautiful. You'll need half a cup of granulated sugar divided, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 large eggs plus 4 egg yolks, 8 tablespoons of unsalted butter at room temperature, and 2 to 3 tablespoons of rose water. This next step is actually going to be done over on the stove, so we are going to shift over there and get started. So we're over at the stove. I did pull out a medium-sized saucepan along with a potato masher and a wooden spoon. What you're going to do is add your raspberries to your saucepan along with a 1/4 cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of water. You're going to heat this up over medium heat and stir everything really well together. And then as your raspberries start breaking down, what you'll do is take your potato masher and keep mashing the raspberries until they're fully broken down and everything is well incorporated together and your raspberries have turned into like a raspberry mush. Our berries have been completely broken down and they are ready for the next step. What we're going to do is strain them through a fine mesh strainer into another bowl. You'll use a silicone spatula to gently press the berries through the strainer. You want to remove the seeds and the pulp, but you want to keep the juices on the bottom in your bowl. It should give you about a cup or so of the raspberry puree. Our raspberry puree has been strained through our mesh strainer. I have it here in the bowl. The next step is to let this cool completely down to room temperature. After that, you'll add your remaining 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, your lemon juice, and your rose water. Mix it well together until everything's combined, and then what you do is give it a taste. If you want it to be a little bit sweeter, add about 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar at a time until it's the sweetness you desire. And if you want a stronger rose flavor, you can go ahead and add that 1 more tablespoon of rose water. So I will start with 2 tablespoons, give it a taste, and see if I want to add the 3rd. The next step is to add our lemon raspberry rose puree mixture back into our saucepan. You'll also add in your 2 eggs and 4 egg yolks into your saucepan as well. You're gonna whisk everything together really well, and then you're gonna heat this over medium-low heat. You wanna stir occasionally to make sure that this doesn't curdle, and once it reaches a temperature of about 180 degrees, take it off the stove. Meanwhile, while this is heating up, you can reuse your bowl here, just rinse it off, and put your mesh strainer back in your bowl because we will need to strain this again. So this next step is gonna happen pretty quickly. It's actually a couple of steps into one. Once this is ready to go, what you're going to do is you're going to take it off the heat and you're going to add in your butter 2 tablespoons at a time. You can use your whisk to whisk it all in. After that, you're going to immediately put it back through your metal strainer to make sure you remove any clumps and bumps. After that, you will then immediately put it into your baking dish on top of your delicious lemon crust. Again, it'll all happen fairly quickly. You want to make sure that the curd doesn't have too much time to cool down, and then it will be ready for topping and baking.
I'm 1,000 miles away from home, just waiting for a train.
The next step is to bake our lemon raspberry rose tart bars in the oven for about 15 or so minutes. You're going to bake them until they're just ever so slightly jiggly in the center, or when you tap your finger on the top, it doesn't leave an indentation. After that, pull it out of the oven, and then you will top with your lemon crumble topping, and you'll bake it for about 3 to 5 more minutes until the crumbs are nice and set. Our Lemon Up Girl Scout cookie and raspberry rose curd tarts, or bars, whatever you want to call them, are out of the oven and they smell wonderful. The next step is to let these completely cool down on the countertop. Should take about 2 hours or so. Afterwards, you want to put them in your refrigerator and let them cool for an additional 2 hours. The cooling process will help fully solidify your curd in the middle and give it that nice creamy texture that we all love with raspberry curd. After that, feel free to, you can take the tart out of your baking dish using the parchment paper, should lift right out. Put it on a cutting board, cut it up, and it's ready for serving. And again, whenever you are not eating it, you can keep it in your refrigerator for a couple of days. Thank you so much for joining me today while we made this delicious and beautiful Lemon Up Girl Scout cookie and raspberry rose tart. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you had fun baking with me today. I appreciate each and every single subscriber as you join me on this journey from baker to baker. You can also visit our website or follow us on social media for this and all of our other fun recipes. Until next time, I hope you have a very happy bake day.